Welcome to Akhand Vidyashram, the first institute of impeccable wisdom. Mahagauri, the eighth day of Durga Puja, the brilliance of Vigyan Chakra. The greatest divine declaration I ever know of. Whenever there is a decline in Dharma, I take birth in Bharat to eliminate evil and righteousness and re-establish the divine design of nature. In that connection, reincarnation is a fundamental rule of Sanatana Dharma. When you are born once, you learn quite a lot, go through the evolution, then you die and take rebirth from the same place where you have left last time, and then go on adding new ideas slowly, step by step. By learning divine mathematics, physics, chemistry, everything in the universe, over and over period you come to stage of Divyan, the divine design of nature, for the first time I did in 2015. But I remember all the births of earlier which had a significant mathematics in that concept. Now, let's talk of the goddess Durga's creation. She was created by divine nature to eliminate demons and all the bad people and free the three spheres of Bhumi, Antariksh and heaven of the universe once for all. Now, Goddess Durga is born with 18 arms, and I think this is a greatest statement, mathematical design, that all the natures have put all the forces into this, and the form of Durga is with 18 arms. This is scientifically very significant, and the modern science in its own way search for spiritual science or science by itself, truthful, honestly, has given the world the periodic table. Now, if you look at the periodic table, it's very clear you have 7 periods. That means everything is made of 7 parts, and then 18 groups. And first period has got only 2, second has got 10, third 18, and that's how it goes on. There is a mathematics with which the universe is designed. I think is a phenomenal by and large. In that connection, after goddess Durga eliminated all the suras of Mahishasura, Chamundashri as well as Raktabij, etc., she dissolved her energy body in the universe to take birth again in the human form for further evolution. That is the divine design. All the human beings of the creation, from mineral kingdom to plant kingdom to animal kingdom to the human beings to the Lokpalan stage, we go through the stages both in male and female. So she had to take birth as a female, as a Kanya Kumari, as Vaishnavi, which is the lowest part of Akhand Bharat, which you are going to see now. In this picture, you can see Kanyakumari down where she was born. From there, she moves on to Trikuta mountain, where I was born. This is Trikuta mountain, which represents Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. All the three things, Trinity is there. And I said Trinity means really Trinity. And then 22 by 21 is equivalent to Lord Brahma. 10 stages, lot of stages of Vishnu. And 0.344 are Panchbhutas of Shiva. This is how I understand divine mathematics. That is how all the pictures of gods and goddesses in different forms have shown me divine mathematics, divine design in physics, chemistry, biology, and everything is consistent. And this is where I see the beauty of Ved and Upanishad. It's not a babbling of infancy or animals. It is the greatest work of the universe done by the Brahmins in Satyayug, maybe 10,000 years back, even earlier than that. Now come to the question of Mata Vaishno Devi temple is the cave. You can see 3 pindis. You have Maha Saraswati on the left side down, which is white, pink, quartz-like. She represents a goddess of knowledge. Second middle one is Mahalakshmi, the goddess of wealth, which is saffron in color. Then third is Mahakali, the goddess of moksha of Lord Shiva's, and she is the one who gives you moksha, freedom from all the constraints of life. So all the knowledge, all the wealth, all the wisdom, everything comes from this. So Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh and Dattatreya, Saraswati, Mahalakshmi, Mahakali and Durga. These are the 8 things which stand out as the primal energies by and large. And same thing, Mata Vaishnavi statue is like the Tatriyas, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, with a body of 5.5 feet under the pindis of that. And I think that's phenomenal. Now come to the 10 Mahavidyas we are talking about. We are going to talk about 10 days. That's why Durga is shown with the 10 figures around. And that's what I'm trying to understand step by step. What are these particular things all about? Now come to Mata Vaishnavi. As I told you, she has, after her dissolution, she has taken birth as Vaishnavi and she is incarnation. Now she is shown with 8 arms. That is the point. And 8 arms, I can think of you 8 electrons and 8 protons. That means she is oxygen. That means she represents Agni element. And less Agni will become water and solid, and more Agni will be Vayu and Akash. And once that is understood, I think she can understand and appreciate. And I do know she is meditating to become goddess Gayatri, which is the 10th stage. Also Durga, once again, which is her own thing. And once she goes there, you will be able to understand the entire divinity from Adi Prashakti, Durga, Chamundeshwari, to Gayatri, to Durga, to Aditi, and everything in the process. And these are all things possible to be experienced within your human body itself. From all the minerals, plant, kingdom of animals, or human being, or the entire universe is within the human body, and that is the Virat Roop, which even Gita is talking about. Now comes to the question of Goddess Gayatri, the first step she is going to take. So she represents inert matter neon 21. That means 10 protons, 10, 11 electrons, and 10 electrons. That means 10 plus 11 plus 10 is equal to 31. Divided by 3 is approximately the stages of development as such. So I do know the solar system spiral galaxy is coming from neon 21 only. Neon 21 plus neon 21 is given to 22, and then coming down 10 stage is a beautiful design. But neon 21 has come from argon 40, which is higher, that is goddess Adi Prashakti, or you call it Durga. Now come to the question of the first thing we talk about is how the evolution and then starts happening. Shalputri is the first day. She is the daughter of Himalayan king Earth ice. That means the solid element of Amrit or water is ice. And that's how the Mahavidya starts. So that means Muladhara Chakra, the first sound, is the solid element of 4 petals and 38.1966% of the matter itself. So this is solid matter is only that much, and that represents earth element and the inner consciousness, which is the core. Then this is how it represents Satchakra Nirupana, Akhand, as well as neuroscience is this picture, and you can say that 4 coccyx bones represent 4 petals of Muladhara. Also the 2 chains of left and right ganglion, Ida and Pingala, and 2 legs represent the same thing. This is where the science and spirituality come together. Then Brahmachari is the second aspect. When she is the one which represents water. That is the fluid state, dynamic state. In the dynamic state, this is a picture of Swadhisthana Chakra, Satchakra Nirupana, Akhand, as well as neuroscience. And this represents testosterone, which is the ojas in it for physical, muscular powers, length, breadth, everything, part, intelligence, intuition, everything. And same thing when testosterone converted into estriol, estrogen, she gets intelligence, and that's it. Now all this energy when goes up around the brain and this through Vani Nadi, which is in Sushumna Nadi, you become a very powerful, very intuitive, very intelligent person. Without that, you can't really go up. So having testosterone, estrogen is absolutely essential, and that is what brahmacharya is. That great character comes only with intelligence, not with anything lesser than that. Now come to the Chandra, the third day of Durga Puja, and she represents Agni, solid, water, and Agni, the fire element. And that is where she is connected with Nabhi Chakra and also connected with adrenal gland, which comes to play a role in an emergency, and that will make you safe come what may be. So 4 petals, 6 petals and 10 petals, and energy coming down is again coming down. Then come to the fourth stage is Durga Puja, that is science of Manipura Chakra. Manipura Chakra, Satchakra Nirvana does not talk about it, but is absolutely essential. Lower 6 petals of thoracic bone with 12 nerves come to this, and they are responsible for ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and excretion of nutrition required. Digestive system is water, nutrition, everything comes through that. Without that we cannot survive. So that is absolutely, it has got only 12 petals, and that's it. Centers around digestive system, liver, stomach, small intestine, pancreas, spleen, etc. Whole thing works as a petal, and I think that's the brilliant work. Now come to Skamandra, and that is the fifth day of Durga Puja. Now from solid to water to Agni, now you come to the Vayu stage, the air element. So once that air means how slowly you're going up in heart consciousness, is you're seeing the human body itself. And when come to that, you come to the heart chakra that has got a thymus to give you immunity, to give you air, everything by and large to make you perfect. And the thing which comes out is the prana, that means absorption of 100% oxygen within the body. Once you maintain 100% and expel 61.803% of the carbon dioxide, remaining you maintain for formation of hydrochloric acid or alkali to complete a pH balance of 7.4. So this chakra plays very important role. Then come to the Katyayani, the sixth day of Durga Puja, that inner heat. Now from solid to water to Agni to Vayu, now you come to the inner heat. That means almost energy inside is absolutely essential. That is how evolution takes place. And in the process you can see 16 petals in neck levels and also thing. But what is most important is thyroid gland and parathyroid gland, and also detox purification, and also the absorption of iodine and to convert into thyroid hormone for heat in the body. And someone who is perfectly doing it, he will never feel the cold in winter and never feel hot during summer. He will have the capacity to absorb anything which is extreme temperature. And I think one person is able to do, I think you are brilliant thereafter. Then come to the Kalratri, the seventh day of Durga Puja. That is the divine energy of the Ajna Chakra, which is beyond Vishuddhi Chakra and lower than Vigyan Chakra. Once you come to that stage, you state that you have risen from energy to thyroid and parathyroid. Now you can see anterior thyroid, no sorry, pituitary, posterior pituitary, all the stimulating hormones, and also vasopressin or ADH and oxytocin. These are the hormones. That's why the ancient only talked of 2 petals for it, and that was the last chakra they talked about. They Sat chakra normally call it only 6th chakra, but I call it 7th because having added Manipura. But this is what Satchakra Nirupana talks about in chakra, and that's the reptilian brain right up to limbic, below the limbic system to the brain stem. This stage is very, very clear. That means your inner homeostasis is well taken care of by all the organs right up to endocrine gland, autonomic gland and nervous system to make sure that you are healthy, wealthy, wise and happy being. Now come to the subject of the day is Mahagauri. Maha means great, Gauri is white. So it's the 8th day of Durga Puja, which is the day today. The brilliance of Vigyan Chakra means as you come from solid element to the fluid element water to Agni to Vayu to energy to purification. Now you come to the stage that you're going higher and higher. So energy becomes light and light. The first thing which you created was light alone. And that is the brilliance, that is effulgence, that is what Durga's real form in this, but she has got a purity much beyond that. I think once that is understood, we can move on to the next stage, how we are going to understand the concept step by step, understanding this particular organ which is above the pituitary, but hypothalamus And why hypothalamus is important? Now I am going to explain that very clearly in this. Why this center is there in higher level intelligence, particularly with respect to brilliance of intelligence or buddhi. Now you can see this Vigyan chakra, which is 8th hypothalamus, and this is center of autonomic nervous system is end. So is the endocrine system ends there. All the physicalized thing as such, which neuroscience and anatomists and others have up to this is very very clear on that part. Right up to this is very gross form. Now I am showing you the center of hypothalamus and pituitary associated as one part. They work in unison. No wonder Satchakra does not talk of anything higher than Ajna Chakra, but I do know Ajna gives you the Gyan and hypothalamus gives you Vigyan, the science. Philosophy to science is between these two, but they work in hand in glove with each other, where they work as what particular unit. Although you say pituitary is highest, but real head endocrine gland and autonomic nervous system is in hypothalamus. And once that is realized, that you come to the 8th stage much better and control from there. All negative feedback, positive feedback, everything put together comes to that. Once that comes, then you are in a much higher level of consciousness. Now in this particular thing, I am showing the hypothalamus mental and pituitary and one thing. What here is, there is a big combination between two. There is hypothalamus hypophyseal axis. It is not independent of each other. Now anterior pituitary gets releasing hormones from hypothalamus. You can see neuroendocrine cell nucleus they are producing, and that produces small phyco levels of hormones which cannot go into the system and be delivered there. So the system has made like adrenal gland a periportal system there. So straight from hypothalamus it goes to anterior pituitary, which produces stimulating hormones and then goes further to produce hormones in the endocrine gland. I think that system is brilliant. Once you understand, then you concentrate and maintain that very well, you will be very healthy by and large. On the posterior side also you have, first is adenohypophysis, that is endocrine gland. Posterior is neurohypophysis. This is only neurohormones as such. Both oxytocin and ADH are vasopressin. They take care of the perfect homeostasis very completely. Now come to the question of this particular thing. The head endocrine gland has very system. There is the anterior part and the posterior part. As far as the anterior part is concerned, is a cranial parasympathetic system, and as the posterior is concerned, is a sympathetic system. So this is the union again of autonomic nervous system. Anterior part stimulation will reduce the heart rate, things like those. All the people who meditate, they concentrate on interior part of the hypothalamus, but when they are not able to do, goes to posterior, that's where sympathetic overactivity comes and the shock results come. So this is a beautiful design to understand how this particular center can work on endocrine glands as well as autonomic nervous system. And once you have this in complete balance come to entire autonomic nervous system, endocrine system, your homeostasis, everything will be perfectly normal. Then comes to the, I told you, the hypothalamus axis. Now you can see the center both how they flow, but this is also, I brought the third ventricle into picture where Antaratma, Aditi or Kundalini should rise from Muladhara chakra and get into the, break the Brahma Granthi, get into the Brahma Nadi and then come to the ventricle, which I call Vaikuntha, is the third ventricle. Once it comes there, it can do phenomenal for the world. Person will have no difficulty at all of any pain, prick, anything at all. And that is where you are come to the hypothalamus, hypophysis put together, and that is where you get higher control by and large. Now come to the question of this particular center, the neuro centers which are there and how they work and how they go. And I think very clearly, which I have shown to earlier also, once that is understood, I think you can move on to understand why autonomic nervous system and endocrine system, which is the inner part as such. Now one more thing which I want people to understand right up to this, the whole thing, the reptilian brain, are the whole basal ganglion and below part to hypothalamus, to brainstem, to the spinal cord. Put together are the system where grey matter is inside, close to the ventricles and central canal of this. That means they are inside controlled, not outside controlled. Once this inside control is complete and Antratma is there, only then you can see things much more clearly, have things under your control, you can experience A to Z of life, and then you can move on to higher level, much conscious after that. Without that, you cannot have a travel which is conscientious, auto-regulated, under your control with full awareness. Now this particular thing I have shown what are the things, what they produce and how things go, and this is what it is. I told you the hypothalamus hypoaxis, you can see from the whole thing is coming to the anterior part as the gland and posterior as this, and once this whole thing is integrated, functioning very well, releasing hormones are clear, neurohormones are clear, everything is clear, then you can be perfectly healthy in complete blissful state of health, wealth, wisdom and happiness. This is a state, that's what is the Vigyan Chakra means science. The Gyan, Vigyan, Pragyan, right up to this you come to the stage much more clear. In innate stage you are going to see even much more. So now by the time you are literally come to Mahagauri, you are literally white, pure consciousness, and that is what brilliance, that is what buddhi, that is what intelligence is. Now you have seen how step by step you come to stage, your intelligence has come up, your buddhi has come up, now you are going to go to next stage thereafter. And this is the picture which again shows this hypothalamus axis, see some getting it and how they delivered into the anterior pituitary, and this is the most beautiful picture I have seen, how beautifully this nature design that micro particles, FICO level of releasing hormones cannot go to system, will be lost. It should immediately done and delivered right up to this, and how capillaries both in the hypothalamus, capillaries in the anterior pituitary are so designed with a Venus thing. I think this is something which you have to understand. We human beings are the wonderful body. Unless until we take care of this wonderful body A to Z, step by step completely, we cannot become perfect. If we have come from mineral kingdom to the plant kingdom to the animal kingdom to the perfect human being, only in that perfect body which is healthy, wealthy, wise and happy, enlightened, educated, everything, can see the entire world within that, and that is exactly the message which Sanatana Dharma has always given. All the human beings by and large represent the universal consciousness, all the gods and goddesses are within the human being, and we can experience the entire universe with it. Only human beings can give you the knowledge, not any other equipment, not any element, nothing else. This is a quality of only perfect human beings who are healthy, wealthy, wise, with good intentions, loving everybody and making the world a peaceful place. No fighting, no dividing, nothing at all. With a person with perfect nature to only make the world peaceful, the person will rise, otherwise not at all possible. Now in this particular picture I have given the what are the different kinds of hormones which are produced in hypothalamus, pituitary and inhibitory gland. For example, if you take hypothalamus central, corticotrophin releasing hormone is released by the hypothalamus, which produces adenocorticotropic hormone in the pituitary, which in further goes to adrenal gland to produce mineralocorticoids, glucocorticoids, adenites and sympathomimetic hormone. That's a beautiful thing, but there is no inhibitory factor. Second thing is thyrotropin releasing hormone is a microorganism or phyco thing produced in the hypothalamus, goes to anterior pituitary, produce thyroid stimulating hormone, which further goes to work on thyroid gland to produce thyroxine for heat balance itself. And I think that's the brilliant. Then second thing, the growth hormone has got something which is come from hypothalamus, then releasing from this, and is also got inhibition and promotion by and large. I think once that is understood, then your growth right up to 22 years will be phenomenal, and you could have a perfect body according to Divyak like Shibhushan Sharma and be a perfect in genetically everything. So growth hormone plays very important. That's a hormone which continues to be produced. But incidentally, this growth hormone and releasing hormone only within hypothalamus and pituitary, not any other organ as such. But of course, it functions in different parts, including bones and etc. Calcium representation, that is there. But hormone is not produced anything other than pituitary. Second thing is the prolactin. Releasing hormone comes from hypothalamus, prolactin from the anterior pituitary, and this is one is responsible for forming breast and milk and releasing the milk. And I think that's brilliant. Then come to another in hypothalamus, you have luteinizing hormone, releasing hormone, which produces luteinizing hormone in the pituitary, which further goes to ovaries and testes, produce further estrogen as well as testosterone as such. And as far as the follicular stimulating hormone is concerned, it is something on the higher side releasing, but it produces oogenesis and sporogenesis in male sperms, females ovum is a follicle stimulating, and how it works within that. Once this is understood clearly one by one, that means you are really intelligent, you have the whole system of positive feedback, negative feedback. This is what I am trying to show in the science. Only that kind of science, spiritual science, is meaningful. Otherwise, sectarian is no use. Once you understand, you know the beauty, and then you take care of it. Once this is taken care of, I can tell you, you can be perfectly healthy, wealthy, wise and happy. And I think that is what is required to understand. And I do see same wisdom is given in different form, Mahavidyas, Navaratri, as well as modern science and other things. Everything is coming to all the 64 arts and schooling coming close to that. Now coming to the same thing, same knowledge what I have been giving is presented here. I think is enough for the day. Thank you very much.